Hey everybody, and welcome back. We're still talking about regulation of blood pressure. So we're going to get into the renin-angiotensin system, and I'm going to skip a few of these slides. They're very important. They have all the information, but I'm going to go to the picture and I'm going to explain how the renin-angiotensin system works. Okay, so you have these slides. And I would definitely, go through because they give you the information like what is angiotensinogen, what organ produces it, stuff like that, okay? And okay, so this is a figure. If you're wondering where I got it, you can click here. This is where I got this figure from, okay? So the kidneys are the organ that produces renin. So kidneys produce the hormone renin in response to low blood pressure levels. So renin enters the blood and it's going to interact with another inactive hormone produced by the liver called angiotensinogen. Angiotensinogen is found in our blood plasma, and it just moves through our blood plasma as an inactive hormone. It only gets activated by renin if renin is released. So when we have low blood pressure, renin is released. It activates angiotensinogen and converts it to angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 then, as it moves through pulmonary circulation in the lungs, it interacts with another enzyme called angiotensin converting enzyme. So this is called ACE, or angiotensin converting enzyme. Angiotensin converting enzyme converts angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 is a very strong vasoconstrictor. So it not only causes vasoconstriction, it stimulates the adrenal glands to release hormones. It stimulates the hypothalamus to increase our thirst. It stimulates the release of, so it stimulates the hypothalamus also to tell the posterior pituitary gland to release antidiuretic hormone. And altogether, this increases our blood pressure. And so this is the basic function of how we maintain or how we control our blood pressure. If our blood pressure drops, we have to be able to raise it up. And the renin-angiotensin aldosterone system, some people call it that, some people call it renin-angiotensin system. That's how it works, okay? So aldosterone is a salt lover. Aldosterone is going to increase sodium uptake by the kidneys and intestines. And what happens is that sodium increase also causes more fluids to move into our blood plasma. The antidiuretic hormone is going to increase the number of aquaporins in our kidneys. That increases the amount of fluid that is going to be brought back into the blood plasma. Antidiuretic hormone also has vasoconstricting activity on smooth muscles, so it can increase blood pressure in that sense. And it also conserves water by vasoconstriction of the smooth muscles around the our sweat glands. Angiotensin 2 stimulates the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is what activates the posterior pituitary, but it also is where we have our thirst center. So if we increase the amount of thirst we have, we're going to increase the amount of fluids we take in, which also will increase our blood pressure. So altogether, we have that increase in blood pressure. Aldosterone is produced by the adrenal cortex, which is your salt lover, and that helps to increase blood pressure. Antidiuretic hormone produced by the hypothalamus but secreted by the posterior pituitary increases blood pressure. and antidiuretic hormone increases blood pressure by activating the production of more aquaporins in our nephron tubules. But then we have atrial natriuretic peptide. Atrial natriuretic peptide, or ANP, is produced from the atria of the heart. And what this does is it it responds to increased stretch of the right atrium. So as blood moves from systemic circulation into the right atrium, if there's a very strong stretch to that right atrium, atrial natriuretic peptide is going to be produced. And that enters the blood and it stimulates vasodilation of our blood vessels. It also inactivates angiotensin 2. It increases the amount of urine we produce, inactivates aldosterone and antidiuretic hormone. So the net effect of ANP is going to be a decrease in overall blood pressure. This is how we maintain blood pressure for long term. So regulation of blood pressure long term is through these hormones. Hello. So I was going to show you this video here. It's not an actual, I'm not going to show you the animation. I'm going to show you the animation, but I'm not going to listen to the animation. This is an animation from wiley.com, and if you need to, you can write this information into your Google bar or into your search bar. If you click on this, when I did it, it didn't go to an actual place, so I'll show you what happened. This is something I was trying to do. Hello, there we go. So it went here and it kind of stopped and there was nothing I could do. So what I ended up doing was I stopped my video and I copied the address, which I put there, and I put it into my Google Chrome because it was going into the Internet Explorer one. And when I did that, it worked. And so here you can see the actual animation. And so here's the website again. You can see it up here. It's a great website that goes through all of the different blood hormones that influence blood pressure. So antidiuretic hormone, renin and angiotensin, aldosterone, and atrial natriuretic peptide. So you can go through this and it'll help you if you're confused as to how these blood pressure hormones or how these hormones control blood pressure. And you do have access to this. If you click on this, you can just copy and paste the website, or you can just write the website from here, okay? So a couple disorders associated with blood pressure is hypertension and hypotension. Hypertension is high blood pressure. Typically, you will be considered an individual with hypertension if your systolic pressure is above 140, or if your diastolic pressure is above 90 millimeters of mercury. If you have chronically high blood pressure for a long period of time, this can cause damage to the blood vessels and it can lead to atherosclerosis. And this is often a precursor to heart disease, heart failure. Hypotension then is low blood pressure, chronically low blood pressure, whereas systolic is below 90 or diastolic is below 60. So with low blood pressure, you're more prone to fatigue, dizziness, and fainting. You're not getting enough nutrients to those organs. Orthostatic hypotension is a drop in blood pressure due to a change in position of the body. So, like from sitting to standing, you might get dizzy for a second, and that's associated with your blood pressure not being regulated fast enough. So it typically happens to everybody at least once in a while, but if it's constantly happening, then you might have something wrong with you. I'm going to stop this video because it's been 10 minutes, and the last video we'll talk about fetal blood flow. Have a great day. Bye.